Okay, we are live. We're alive just a few minutes early. Um, but I mean we have a lot to cover, but we figured what the heck. We'll wait till 6:30 to start it. But um so as you can tell, Sophia's here with me and we're just waiting for this to show up on YouTube. Oh, and here it comes. So you have anything you need to say or want to say, Sophia? Please feel free. Please talk.
Just, I'm anxious to get this one taken care of because there was a lot of misinformation in regards to it and uh, half truths in regards to this particular topic. And so it'll be great just to fact check it and put the information that we know uh, compared to what has been said in this topic. And we have a few future topics coming out also. Just checking to see the comments.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we what were we talking about? Again,
Uh, Finances.
yes, the finances. We're gonna tackle that one because as we know, you've heard from who did that dystopian article thing?
Alex Wilkerson.
Okay, Wilkerson, and then what's his face who did the um oh my god, please talk. I can't even think of his name. Who did the stupid movie?
Eric Nelson.
Okay, yeah. Hi Nova. I have a brain fart here. I can't even think at the moment. But yeah, everyone seems the flat out lies about David and Kamel, needing money, and Kamel was providing it all, and David was such a loser. Yeah, we're gonna put that to rest.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then, just some other projects we have going on. So we have been working on it. We've also been dealing with our own things. So, but we never forget about this case.
oh yeah, nope. Nope, it's always something we're working on almost daily. Just it doesn't end up here very often. But we will get it here eventually. It's just a matter of timing. Okay. I think what time is it? Yeah, it's 6:30. You want to just start jumping into this presentation? Or do you
Sure.
want to wait just a few minutes? What do you want to do?
We can jump into the presentation. That's fine.
Okay, let me get yeah, we might as well try to jump into it because the way it takes me forever. Let's see.
Let me see if I can also. I was going to try to pull it up on my phone too, just so
Okay.
I can read it.
Hopefully, the entire screen. I don't need the entire screen. Let's see. See, I just never know if it's going to share everything or just what I highlight when I pick this thingamajigger. So I don't know if I should do entire screen. Nah, we'll just try this and hopefully it will work. They're all like, what the heck are you talking about? Okay. And let's do, okay. And we're going to start with, I have called this one musical cars. And the reason why it's called that, if it's like the child game, right? Musical chairs. And it's because Sidrah constantly has a different account of the cars and where they were. And other people, myself included, just basically because I never even really looked at it before, you're just like going, okay, the car was there, it was there, it was here. No, wait, it was outside, it was in the garage, it was in Texas, it's back to Minnesota. Yeah. So in here, it really wasn't. So we're going to first go through the timeline of events. In May of 2014, Mr. Alam gave Kamel and David use of their Acura. And then there's not a time specified, but Sidrah stated it was her plan to go up to Minnesota and let Kamel borrow a Toyota and bring the Acura back. Now, this is just, again, timeline of events. October 16th, 2014, in the Death of a Dystopian article, Sidrah says she and Vincent drove 16 hours from Waco to Apple Valley. There is no mention of going to the police station asking for an escort. She says she left on the 16th, drove for 16 hours straight, and arrived at 7 p.m. the same day. Not possible. October 18th, 2014, Sidrah called the Apple Valley Police Department because she had more questions. October 19th, 2014, per Sidrah's credit card statement, charges for a motel appear. On October 2014, per Sidrah's statement to Sergeant Gummert, David called Mr. Alam and was swearing at him. She states David said they did not want any contact with the family. Per Mr. Alam, no such conversation ever took place. And again on October 19th, 2014, per statement to Sergeant Gummert, Sidrah arrived in Minnesota. She stopped by the AVPD to ask for a police escort to the house. She says she arrives on the 16th, but she stays at a motel on the 18th and leaves on the 19th. No time specified, but might be October 18th or 19th. David told Sidrah to come back after an hour. She did so, and she found the Acura was parked on the street. She transferred her items from the Toyota to the Acura and left the Toyota in the driveway.
Okay. Now,
what?
In none of these statements is the color of the vehicle ever mentioned.
Okay, I'm trying. Let me get back to you. I lost you for a second there. Okay, you're right. Not at all.
So we have, and there are two Toyotas. There's a gold color one, and then the black one. But we don't know which one it was that Sidrah is referring to in this one, because the black Acura, or the black Toyota. Would you like to tell folks about that one?
No, please go ahead.
Has expired license plates. It was expired in July. And so it would be illegal to drive it from Texas to Minnesota. I can almost guarantee she would have gotten pulled over numerous times, especially in Texas and in Minnesota too.
Yeah.
And so I'm just, and what backs me up on this is background checks between David, Dan Jr., and other Gray State guys. They have been pulled over for heinous infractions, like the tint too dark on the vehicle and stuff like that. So I can only imagine just a trooper seeing that their car is expired would have pulled them over. But there's nothing on their background check saying that they've gotten any tickets whatsoever on Sidrah or Vinny's, because they both were in that car supposedly driving out.
Correct. And another thing that we'll get into in a little bit too, that kind of helps back up what Sophia was just saying, is that out of the two vehicles, it was the other Toyota Corolla, right? They're both Corollas, correct? And it was the other Corolla, not the black one, but the other gold or silver, whichever color it was. That is the one. No, that one always maintained proper tags, correct? And then which car was it that they registered in November right after this incident happened? It was either that Toyota Corolla or it was the Acura, but they never bothered to put tags on this one. So that just leads to say that vehicle just never really was in anybody's plans. It just kind of sat somewhere for a while.
Russell was talking about, she said, unless she had a temporary registration, but
Describe a thingamajigger. Yeah, smart aleck. Um, unless she had a temp registration, but there was none mentioned. So yeah, you're correct, but nothing mentioned, nothing seen in the paperwork.
And you looked at the Carfax, and the Carfax didn't show anything whatsoever.
Yeah, and in Texas, you don't get a temporary car registration.
I
And
mean, you get it when you drive from the dealers.
right,
And
but not when you're transferring vehicles from one state to the next is what I'm referring to, because when we moved from California, because at the time my husband was military, so we moved from California to Killeen, Texas, and of course we had California plates, and we had 30 days to get it done, and if we didn't, it was Ticket City, USA, and so and no temporary whatsoever. So I drove from California to Georgia on a temp. Um, but that's California to Georgia. You wouldn't be allowed to get a temp tag from Texas to Georgia. I don't believe so. I don't, unless they've changed the laws.
I'd never heard of it though.
Yeah. And how long ago was that, Russell? Was that had to have been a while ago? You're gonna let your age show here, bud. We just have to wait for him to type because he types on his phone. Oh. Okay, should we keep going? I'll keep going with the presentation. Russell, keep typing. I know it'll take you a minute. Share screen, window. Oh, yes, please. Thank you. Oh boy, where's my presentation? Oh wait, here it is. I forget where I'm at. Okay, now we need slide.
The timeline of events. No time specified. It might be October 18th or 19th, 2020.
Okay.
20.
Okay, yeah. David told Sidrah to come back. Yeah, and then the Toyota in the driveway. Okay, now on February 13th, Sidrah tells Dan Hennon about the Black Corolla. She said she gave it to Kamel. February 13th, David and Kamel drove the Black Corolla to Texas and left it there. Then they drove the Acura back to Minnesota, per Sidrah's statement to Dan. There is no proof this actually took place.
I even looked in the journal, and David talks about getting to Texas, but he doesn't talk about driving. He doesn't talk about the car exchange. There's no mention of this whatsoever.
Yeah, what I could find too is that they just said they picked up a car and drove one back, but never mentioned driving a vehicle out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And February 13th, Dan asks Sidrah how she will get both Toyotas back to Texas. February 13th, Sidrah says she's flying into Minnesota and her dad's friend will put both cars on his trailer, which can hold 10 cars. The problem with the story, and we're going to go back through all of these documents and show you guys the actual conversations and statements. Sidrah has told a few accounts of how and why cars were switched and driven to and from Texas to Minnesota. The problem is they do not align with the other facts of the case. For instance, the Black Corolla had expired plates. The plates were due to be renewed in July 2014. However, it was never done. It could also be argued David and Kamel were planning on selling the Black Corolla as there was a Kelley Blue Book sheet along with the keys on a desk. That's what I was saying. Kelley Blue Book sheet. No, it was a different company. I knew I messed up somewhere. Okay, we'll see it in the photo. I have that photo available. So do you believe for one moment the Black Corolla with expired tags drove from Texas to Minnesota without being pulled over and ticketed? When pulling information, there are no tickets listed. Here are the plates. Oops, sorry. And you see they expired July 2014.
Next page.
Oh, here we go. Oh, wait. Per an auto check report, as of August 1st, 2018, the black Toyota is still registered in Owatonna.
Okay, right now I think there is something else up there.
Oh, I wonder what's going on. Okay, here, let me get this out of the way. Oh, it's showing something different. Why did it stop sharing this? See, what is going on with this thing? What's going on? So stop sharing and then we'll Wow, I never changed screens. How did that happen? That is so weird. Okay, let's go back. I'll wait until I see that this has popped up on you guys' side.
Okay, problem with the story,
Okay.
and then the car should be the next page.
Okay. Oh, and here's the black Toyota that's in question. And you see the expired tags, July 2014.
Next page. We still have the problem with the
Oh, you
story.
know what? I think I know what's going on. Hold on. I think I know why this thing is doing that.
There,
What a weird, weird, weird.
it should have been page 6.
Yeah, I was scrolling with the mouse scroller instead of clicking, and every time I scrolled it, it wouldn't change on the screen. It changed on my screen, but it didn't change for you guys. So I just need to click it instead of scroll
Okay.
the wheel. Oh my goodness. That's insanity. Okay, so we've got where's the car now?
It's the page before that is what we're looking for.
Yeah, I'm hoping that let me see.
There you go.
Let's see if it's going to catch up on the screen though. It doesn't seem to be catching up live.
There we go.
Okay, there it is. It's just slow, I guess. Wow, that's super slow.
Well, there seems to be a lag between us and YouTube. There always seems to be that lag.
Yeah. But
Is there
again,
any way you can zoom in on that photo so that
not when it's in this form. I have this picture that I'll be showing everybody in a moment. So,
okay.
and we'll zoom in and you'll see for sure it says July 2014. And wow, that okay. So and then of course, per an auto check report as of August 1st, the black Toyota is still registered in Owatonna, Minnesota.
Yeah.
And let's see. And I think that's it for that screen. Why does it just not share? That is actually quite annoying. It never shared the rest of it.
Mm-mm.
That's actually quite frustrating because what is it doing? That's insanity. But maybe I'll just do my whole screen, my entire screen this next time so everything will show. Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. Let me try that and see if it works. Entire screen. Let's just do that. And let's go here or here. In fact, here is where we see the charge for the motel on the 19th. So
Okay.
she wasn't there on the 16th, or at least she wasn't. Yeah, because she was still there are no charges on her credit card from the 15th through to this one. So
Mhm.
and hopefully this will switch over. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, yes, good. I think that was the secret. And this is the discussion between Sidrah and Dan, and where she talks about the Black Corolla was her first car, and she gave it to her sister. And then this was after the deaths, I believe. And then Dan was asking how she was going to get both vehicles home, and then that story. Um, let's see. Why are you not going? And this car is this? Do you know? Is this the Acura, the newer Acura?
I think the Acura was silver. She's driving it. If you look in the journal that David has, there are pictures of her driving an Acura, and it is, I believe, like a silver, a light color Acura.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I don't know what car that is.
Oh, yeah. Okay, and Dan left this post on the group page a while ago, and he says, so there are 3 scenarios here. Sidrah lied to me about the car, plans changed somewhere along the way, or something else happened. Personally, I don't see a scenario at all that involves the car going to anyone in the Crowley family. One option is that the Alam sold it to a friend of theirs that happens to live in Owatonna. Keep in mind the Alams and the Crowley family weren't getting along, so I find it hard to believe Dan Sr. ended up with a car unless he purchased it from the Alams. Any thoughts? And this was Sunday, October 19th. This was from David's journal, correct?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And when you look, he took a photo, and here is the black Corolla outside the house through the window. You see it clearly. And then he says, oh, then he leaves a little note. Again, not talking about, anything that has to do, yeah, nothing to do with exchanging the car or the vehicles at this point, correct?
Correct. Yeah, it's just never mentioned. But he mentions so many other things, but that is left out of the journal. Unless somebody went in after they died and deleted it. I mean, we know that somebody was accessing their journal.
Yeah, that's true. We do know that. And I don't know why this is the map I decided to get a picture of and show you guys, because it's crazy. It should have been Albert Lee down here where Sidrah stayed the night, her and her husband at that time, boyfriend / fiance, whatever. They stayed down here at Albert Lee, and Apple Valley is somewhere up here. So maybe they tried to start driving back. They got tired and pulled over, but this is where they stayed.
And wasn't this the date that they stayed there, or the charge, wasn't that like 2 days after contacting the police?
Well, see, this is the problem. She tells everybody in her newspaper interviews and all this other stuff that she was leaving, and she got to Apple Valley on the 16th and was talking to the police. But everything shows, her credit card receipt shows the 19th. The police report state the 18th or the 19th. So nothing shows that she was there the 16th, the 17th, or the 18th, or early day of the 18th at least.
Yeah.
And this is to show you guys just how far she would have to drive on expired plates if that's what she did. Here's, Waco down here. And so Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, is that Missouri, Iowa, and then Minnesota. That's, yeah, with no tickets on expired plates. No. Especially back in that time frame. Nowadays, like today, I see expired plates all over the place, but back then, no. And here, let me zoom in. Do you know what this was? Do you know what this was about, Sophia? Is this the Black Corolla showing that it's still in Minnesota?
It's the Carfax.
Oh, okay. And yeah, somebody got this, correct? Which, okay, down here as of the 2018, 8/1/2018, I think, it's still in Owatonna. So the Black Corolla never left Minnesota.
And then that's a photo of Kamau driving the Acura on June 27th. And then there's another photo of her driving the gold Corolla.
Is this the gold Corolla right here?
No, that's the Acura. Was the other one? Okay, the other one must have been the the Corolla.
Well, this one, isn't that the Acura symbol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have to.
Okay. But here, you know, as of June, and they kept saying he was spiraling and they were fighting. And he's like, I have a beautiful wife and perfect new life to look forward to. I have nothing to lose tomorrow. Nothing. Just back from PF Chang's. That sound like a man who's losing it, or a man that has a lot of hope and loves his wife? You know, because people have made the snide comments. Oh, it was just a jab. He did the writing on the wall as a jab. Oh, you never hear that man speak a jab toward his wife at all. And this was Thursday, July 24th. Again, Kamala's driving, and I think this is the Acura as well. And he says, the people we are becoming, astonished by the accomplishments of our past.
There was a photo that I have of her driving a different vehicle, and how did it? Give me 1 minute, and I'll bring it up.
Okay, so let me go and where?
Unless
Oh, here we go. This is one of the crime scene photos, and you can see here that we know that this is for the black car. This VIN number matches this VIN number, 4897, and we have a license plate of 034 EAJ. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me get back to these photos. And where are the photos that show? Right there, 034 EAJ. So we know that paperwork, where is this? What is going on? Why am I not finding the photos now?
Oh, here's the photo of her in the Toyota. It's on page.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me do something here for you. Let me see. Oh, can you? Oh, I'm trying to see if I can set it up so you can share.
Page 152 of the journal. I don't know why that. And this is in September.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out where the photos went. I just had the photo. Oh, wait, that was on the slide. Oh my gosh, I pulled it up. See, it's going to force me to do more of these videos just so I can keep on top of it.
I'm not sure how to share it without exiting. That's the thing. I'm on a tablet.
Okay, and let me see. Okay, did you send it to Messenger?
Yeah, I can also send it email.
Oh, okay. Let me pull it really quick. If you guys can just be patient here, I will get that photo. Really, I got to log into Facebook to pull it out. So just give me a second. Save image as. Hey. And now I have to log out. I have to log out of everything because otherwise my computer will freeze. So let me get that now. Car information.
So one of the things that has really been bugging me is the way that Sidrah has changed her stories. Every time she tells a different version of it. When the truth, you don't have to change the facts for the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm not understanding why we have so many versions of the car story. Now she proves that she was in Minnesota unless she called and she scheduled, like a reservation and
Well,
never. But
yeah, I forgot to pull. I knew I was forgetting something, but I did see. Um, so that was Kamel. Everybody, that was her. Um,
driving the a Toyota, and it's the not the expired Toyota. It's the
right.
other vehicle.
It's the gold one, correct.
Mhm.
Um, but I, for some reason, I didn't pull that out. The police reports, which show,
That she actually went into the lobby and
yeah,
filed a complaint.
yeah,
So
there is one that shows, but that was on the 19th.
that was on the 19th also.
Yeah. And so nothing on the 16th or 17th. I want to pull up though I want to find okay, the death of a dystopian. Because I want people to see it. I want them to see for themselves with their eyes. So, okay. And this is the article, Death of a Dystopian. Um, and then they're quoting Sidrah and her fiance Vincent Sotelo, who is now her husband, decided to drive to Minnesota from Waco to check on Kamel. A few months earlier, Anjum had lent David and Kamel a car, and as a pretext, Sidrah planned to tell them that he needed it back. She would leave her own car for them. Now, how is this? Because just a few minutes ago, we read where she said that she went back to get the car because David hadn't been paying the insurance on it.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't leave any vehicles. So either the person who wrote this Death of a Dystopian got everything all confused, or Sidrah's coming up with yet a different story. She says Sidrah and Vincent left Waco on October 16th and drove for 16 hours. They arrived at around 7 that evening. Now, this guy should have done his math. Hello? It's like, come on. What they left at 2 o'clock in the morning to get there by 7 o'clock that night? I don't think so. With Vincent standing behind her, Sidrah knocked on the door. David opened it and she said, "I'm here to see my sister." I mean, talk about how dramatic. Is Vincent ever mentioned anywhere in any of the reports?
No, and that's the thing. I remember Dan and Greg both saying that they had no idea that Vincent even went up there until they read Death of Dystopian.
Yep. So it's either the person who wrote this article is making it up or Sidrah is embellishing to make her story sound better. Which one is it? And it says she knocked again. And then they say, "We want nothing to do with you. I thought I made that clear," he said, and shut the door. She knocked again. David said, "Go sit in the car." Vincent saw a shadow on a wall behind David and felt sure that it was Kamel's. Oh my word. When David came out to the car, he said there was no way Sidrah could see her sister. Sidrah said they had come to exchange cars. David said that he needed an hour to get the car ready, but he would return it only if they took both cars, which meant that Sidrah would have to drive 16 hours to Waco by herself. She said she couldn't. Really? You're young and you can't drive 16 hours by yourself? Yeah, you can. Fine, David said. Deals off. Then he went back into the house. That doesn't even sound like anything how he talks.
Wait, they had to take both cars?
Yeah, the black car is what this is saying, and um oh, here, then this is proof right here. The black car and the Acura that their Mr. Alam had let them borrow. So they were coming up to get the Acura, but David said you have to take both cars with you. And then she's like, "What, you want me to drive by myself back?" Which just proves they didn't drive up there with two vehicles. Because if
Why
she
did
was,
you take both cars though? That car is in Camel's name.
I don't know what's her story. She's crazy. I shouldn't say she's crazy, but maybe she's trying to make it seem like, David's like, fine, take it. If you're going to let your sister borrow it, just take it back with you. Who knows? This is what I'm saying. Everything she says is just confusing and different every single time. But right here, this story tells us that they did not drive the black Corolla up to Minnesota, because she would have had to have driven by herself. And she clearly is not willing to drive by herself, even home. So she's like, no, I can't do that. I can't drive by myself. Oh my God. I've driven across country by myself, and this girl couldn't drive 16, 14, 15, 16 hours. Ugh. Vinny and I looked at each other. What now? Her mom needs her daughter. You said an hour. Oh, okay. We're just going to leave the rest of this because this is ridiculous. But what?
What? They show up unannounced to their house. How did they expect to be received?
Well, and if we remember too in the journal that before this happened, Camille was in a huge fight with her family. Huge. Where the fight on the phone, I think, lasted for well over an hour. And she was crying, and he was like, oh man, what am I going to do now? So it was Camille who was angry with her family. And then David said, we can't do this anymore. And she's like, I agree. I don't want to do this anymore. So instead of saying that they were fighting with her and making her mad, they want to put this off completely onto David when it wasn't. But let me go here. Now, Sidrah's statement to Detective Gummer. Sidrah told me that in October of 2014, David called her father and in the conversation was swearing at him and advised him that they were no longer allowed to contact the family and that they were to leave the family alone. But again, Dan Hennon got it straight from Mr. Alam that never happened. David never cussed him out. And that's coming from her father. So here comes story number 3?
I love that she stated that she slopped up to Apple Valley.
I'm sorry, that she what?
Slopped up to Apple Valley. Or is it slopped or stopped?
Stopped by the Apple Valley Police Department. I need to make that bigger so you can read. Is that better?
Oh my gosh, I'm old.
Yeah. And then Sidrah stated that she called David and attempted to discuss what was going on up in Minnesota, and he advised her also not to contact the family moving forward. Okay, this is the first time this is inserted. That wasn't stated in Death of a Dystopian, wasn't stated in the other statements, but here it is. All of a sudden now an extra insert here. Sidrah stated she attempted to contact Camille several times after her conversation with David, but Camille would not return her texts or calls. Hello? Hello, McFly. Why is that David's fault? Camille had her own phone. And if she's not returning texts or calls, she didn't want to talk because you guys have just had a major blowout. Major blowout. Sidrah stated that it was decided that she would drive up to Minnesota and try to find out what was going on. She stated, according to her records, she arrived in Minnesota on 10/19. Now, see, there you go. That matches everything we have so far. But before that, she said she was there on the 16th. Sidrah stated she stopped by the Apple Valley Police Department to discuss a possible escort to the residence. However, she was advised that based on her information that she provided to the officer, it was felt that it was a matter that the matter was civil and that we could not offer assistance at that time. However, Sidrah stated that she was advised by the officer that when she arrived at the residence, if issues did arise, that she could call 911. Now, that is backed up by the other police report. I don't have it handy, but that actually is backed up. There is a record showing that conversation took place. And then at that point, she advised me back in May of 2014, her father had allowed David and Kamel to bring up his Acura passenger car so they could use it. I can't read. Allowed David and Kamel to bring up his Acura passenger car so they could use that to get around since they needed a vehicle. Sidrah stated that her father helped them financially with the vehicle and that he just simply had had asked them to handle the insurance matters with the vehicle. She stated it was to her knowledge that David and Kamel did not follow through on their end of the deal regarding the Acura, and that part of her plan was to go up to Minnesota to take the Acura back. Now, see, again, this is a different story than from the other one we just read. She said she was using it as a ruse because she wanted to check on her sister. Now she's saying she's going to go and say, well, since you guys aren't paying the insurance on it and keeping the insurance up, we're taking it back. Oh, there's so many different stories. It's so confusing.
In regards to this story, double checking the phone records, she only called them on October 2nd. Then we get to October 18th, there's a call. Kamel didn't answer. Mr. Alam calls on the 19th. So where are all these calls and texts going to? This is the old phone, by the way. This is before they did the switch.
Yep.
So I don't know where all those calls and texts are going to, but it's not on the phone records.
Yeah. Again, embellishments to make her story sound good and David sound bad.
And if the police would have just checked the phone records against what was right here given in the statement, they would have seen yet another discrepancy.
Yep. And so, I mean, yeah, if they had compared anything she had said to their records, they would have to toss out everything she says because so far every story is different. And the one thing that you learn is that if somebody's story consistently changes, it is generally a lie. There may be some truth mixed in here and there, but the story itself is a lie because they can't keep the facts straight.
Yeah.
And so it was her plan to give her sister Toyota and take the Acura back. Sidrah stated that upon her arrival, David did not come to the door, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so, and then of course, this is the auto check where we show that it's, 8/1. This was what I showed you guys earlier on 8/1/2018. It's still registered in Owatonna.
So what is the truth? The truth is the car would have been pulled over. The truth is the car is still in Minnesota. And everything else is up for debate. Is this really hinging on what caused their deaths? I mean, or is this just another rabbit hole that's taking away our time from this case?
That's what I think. That's what I've come to the conclusion. It has zero bearing on the case whatsoever. The Black Corolla is just a vehicle that they had. They left it in the garage. They didn't even bother to keep the registration up. And then it looks like they were getting ready to sell it. They had a Carfax type of paperwork done. They had the keys. They had the title. They were taking it, you said, to Midas, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So they were getting it fixed up, probably to sell it. They're getting ready to move. They don't need to take two vehicles to LA. You don't need two vehicles in LA. You barely need one. And so this tells me too that the whole exchange about David being angry and the picture in the car routine, it's all BS.
And we've never seen proof of this photo. I mean, honestly, if I was backing up the story, I'd say, look, here's the photo that she left us, and here's that message that she had on the back of it. I mean, that would bolster her story even more.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
because she said that, what the picture who was the picture supposed to be left with? Was this
it
it was
was
supposed
supposed
to
to be left in the Acura for Sidrah,
okay.
and it was with her and Kamel and the mother together or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and a supposed writing on the back, but, it's like, no mention does she mention the big fight that they had on the phone prior to
Mhm.
her going up there, and according to David's journal, it was massive. It was hours long, an hour or 2 long, and that's a huge fight to be screaming and yelling at your family for that long over phone. It must have been bad. So, there's a lot of bad blood, and of course, David, if that were to happen and Kamel's like, I can't do this," of course he's gonna run interference for his wife, and yet they turn around and they twist it, and there's absolutely 0 proofs. We don't even know that that even happened, that this exchange happened, because did David write about it in his journal? Her showing up and then him getting
Mhm.
angry and yelling at her? Yeah, I don't remember, I'll be honest, I don't remember. So,
Yeah.
I'm just like, "Wow."
I mean, there is a little mention of the family drama. Sorry, I have to go back to that. It's, give me 1 minute and I can pull it up.
Well, and the good thing is that the journal is at least dated, so it'd be easy to
Yeah,
get to the 18th, 19th, and 20th of October for them, but I just don't remember.
I have to.
But the whole thing is that anyway, the big beef seems to be around the Acura that the dad had somehow either borrowed for them or bought for them, whatever the case may be. It was around that vehicle. No other vehicle was involved. Not their other Corolla that we clearly see her driving in that one photo, not the Acura. And the black Corolla is the only time it's mentioned is Sidrah saying that she gave it to her sister.
So Friday, October 17th is where David writes, things with Kamel's family are so effed up to the to enumerate here. But what's going on now? It's a sick situation. But there's no calls or texts in between them. And as far as we know, Sidra's not in town yet. It's
Correct.
the next day that she's in town. But
Correct.
that's the only mention of it. October 18th, David writes at 4 p.m. If one of us can make it, if one of us can make it, we can take the entire history. And then on the 19th at 11:51 a.m., he takes a photo of the living room and the Black Corolla is in the background. And he's talking about the Christian root problem, reading the language of God, grasping the idea of grace.
So nothing about fighting, nothing about exchanging vehicles, nothing about
No,
anything.
no. So, and like Russell says in the comments, I hate to point out the obvious, but Occam's razor. I mean, what was her real reason for being up there?
Yeah. And did she just go up there just to make that call? And did she even really stop at the house? We don't even know at this point. Yes, when a person is actively in the act of deception, their stories will lose its coherence. And that truly is what it seems to be.
Yeah.
Um, the whole thing is a big shithole of a mess. Yes, it is, Nova. It truly, truly is. And I'm like,
Right there.
wow. I'm going back to make sure I didn't miss any.
I don't even see that comment. What happened to it?
Which one?
Nova's comment. All I see is hello everyone. That's it. Am I not seeing everybody's comments?
I don't know. Maybe did she take it off? No, because I see it and there it's there back. I don't know why you're not seeing it.
Well, I clicked out. I'm gonna click back in, so maybe
Okay.
it will be.
Okay.
Huh.
But
No, I don't see it.
so as far as I'm concerned and how I see this, and it doesn't mean anybody has to agree with me, I think that the Black Corolla is a huge nothing burger. I think it just happened to be an extra vehicle that was in the garage. And since they were getting ready to move to California, because I mean, you can do research on it. Most people don't drive in LA. You just don't. You either get a taxi or you walk somewhere. And they were going to have one vehicle. I don't think that they could find a place to park two. And so they're just like, let's get rid of my thought. Let's just get rid of, the one car we're not even driving, which was the Black Corolla. And they were going to just take the other car and be done with it. So, um, and did this even, now I'm even beginning to doubt if that car exchange even took place. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I'm doubting it big time.
I've been doubting it for years.
Yes, a red herring, Russell. Absolutely. That's what it feels like. It feels like the black Toyota is a red herring.
Yeah,
And you were saying
and
that earlier, Sophia.
yeah, just it's really a nothing burger, like you said. Yes, it's a part of their history, but it doesn't. It's not leading to their deaths. It's not the reason why they died.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
So from this point forward, I think this is the only thing I'm ever going to do on that vehicle because it means nothing. It's just a black car sitting in their garage that they were trying to get rid of. It didn't even really play a part in the crime scene other than being in the garage. So
and I'm glad it was because at least we have a photo of that showing
true.
that it was expired. And honestly, if they would have driven it on the road, they would have been pulled over. I mean, it just would have happened somewhere between Texas and David's house. I mean,
Yeah.
she literally stopped in at a police station.
Right? Right here. I'm going to share this so people can see it one more time. The number of states. And how did it even get to Texas? There's not even a mention of how this Black Corolla got to Texas in the first place. It was in Minnesota, and now somehow it ends up down here. But they would have to drive from Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, oh, I'm sorry, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, and then Minnesota. All those states on extremely expired tags. And my answer is no. That didn't happen.
And once again, we know that it didn't happen because, well, that they didn't get pulled over because if you look at their background checks, there's no tickets. Even if you would have paid off the ticket, it still would show up there. So,
Correct. Correct. So, yeah, we've covered this for almost an hour, and I don't think I have anything else to add. Do you? At least
oh,
about the black car?
no, not about the block car. I mean, it's really just like Russell said, a red herring. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a nothing burger.
I still like Noah's comment. I agree 1,000%. So do you guys have any questions or comments at least about the black car before we either go or switch subjects? I, I know I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I'm convinced, and like I said, I didn't show it this time, and I should have, but there is a report where Sidrah did go in and talk to the police. I believe it was either late in the day on the 18th, but I thought it was the 19th. But so when Gummert is saying in his statement that she came in and talked, that is backed up by
Yeah.
a record. But that is the only thing backed up that she's ever said, nothing else.
Yes, because there's one where it says that she was in the lobby.
Yeah. And then later
Yeah.
she called because she had more questions.
In
So,
the lobby, civil problems over car was sister. And this was at 7:51 on the 18th.
Yeah. I think the reason why I didn't pull that up is because on the copy that I have, the phone numbers are not redacted. So I didn't wanna put that out there in case the numbers are still, being
Yeah.
used.
And then after at 21 9, okay, so 9:10 that same night, there's a call and they're at a like across the way, like a park and ride.
Yeah, we looked that up on the map, and the closest place to where the cell tower they pinged on a cell tower
Mhm.
was a park and ride. The motel they were staying at was nowhere near that area at all,
No,
so they had to have been somewhere around that park and ride.
in
And
fact,
then she was calling because she
it,
had more questions, right?
yes, has more questions about the vehicle, and they supposedly met and talked with them, but that was that was literally it.
Yeah, so either we have a couple of options here, and you're right, Russell. Deflect, distract, divide, Black Corolla equals red herring. Yes. So either um she called them up on that date. She was, calling cops and everybody first, making this big to do. And of course, David and Camille probably knew nothing about it. And maybe they just exchanged and said, oh, okay, well, fine. Here, take it. We'll exchange it. No big deal. And then they left. Or she's lying about the entire situation.
Well, wasn't there another story where they went to Mall of America to kill some time?
That vaguely sounds familiar, but I don't have a copy of where that story was at.
Yeah, I don't either, but supposedly they went to there. But between, I mean, did she stop at the police station before going to David's?
Yes. Yes.
She went
According that's how I understood that because it's like she was needed a police escort
because this is 7:51.
at night or in the morning.
When it was closed at night. 1908 is when she was in the police station
Okay, so that's
making
7.
that complaint.
Yeah, so she was looking for a police escort at that time, correct? So she went there first before she even went to the house.
So could you imagine showing up at somebody's house unannounced at 8 o'clock at night? Because
Yeah, that's just rude to begin with because they knew that they had a child. You're gonna be putting that child to bed. That's bedtime routine time. That's not time to go and sideswipe somebody and, you know, which is why I'm beginning to think that David just must have said, "Fine, here are the keys. See ya, go on your way." Kamel could have been, bathing Rania and getting her to bed, reading her a story, you know?
yeah, but showing up unannounced.
"Oh, no, I'm sorry you got booted, Nova." Well, thank you for coming back.
No, thanks for coming back. Gosh, I didn't know that you got booted.
And my internet connection today, mine has just been so bad and so spotty. It's been awful. But so yeah, now I'm now it really okay. See, the more we talk and the more we start to bring in other aspects of this story, the more I realize that it was just fabricated. It was an exaggeration. She embellished everything. And
Hmm.
why? What was her reason for doing that? Because, her herself couldn't keep her story straight. Yeah, we do too. We learn more each time too. I'm telling you, even just now when Sophia was making that comment, I'm just like, wait a second. Now it's like all of a sudden it's like the scenario pops in my head like, okay, she drives in completely unexpected, unannounced after a day or two after the huge fight on the phone with Kamel. I mean, and it was huge. It was a big fight. And so she just shows up unannounced at night, goes to the police station first, gives them this big, huge sob story to make David sound like some crazy person, and nothing comes of it. And then she calls back later. Why? they had already exchanged the vehicles because they're now about an hour drive down the road to Albert Lee. They're going to be going to a hotel when she makes the call. And I think she makes the call from, it's like, what's her deal?
Unless she's setting up a scenario for much later down the line for January.
Hey, yep, there you go. That is very, very I'm sorry, what? It didn't come through.
Allegedly.
What? Allegedly. There you go. Allegedly, I suppose. Please don't sue us. I got nothing for them to take. They can sue me all they want. I got nothing to give. So whatever.
So we have a couple videos planned for the near future. One of them, see, this is saying right now that it says retry for the comments, and then the comments flip back on. It's weird.
Do I need to do something for you?
No, it came back on.
Okay. That is so weird. Yeah, plausible deniability, Russell. Absolutely.
But one of the videos we're going to do is about the finances and all the comments that have been made in regards to that versus the reality. And the next video, this is going to be the video that we're going to work on next before the finances, is item 57 and item 31, because we have a bombshell for you guys. And I'm excited about this one. So
the things I'm finding out about guns and the so-called forensics of the lands and grooves and how they match things. I am telling you, it is. I don't want to call it a pseudoscience, but it is faulty to the core, and especially when we go over what we're going to go over.
Mm-hmm.
That one will be worth it for sure. You guys will have lots of things to say with that one. Cliffhanger.
I can't get into it, but we have proof from the photos, and it's going to be rather interesting. So, and it's nothing to do with DNA. It's nothing to do with any of that. This is actual proof from that day that they were in that house, the very first day. So, yep, we have proof that that was not, that hole in the ceiling was not there. And so that's all I can say. That's it.
That one for sure you got to tune into, because that's going to be really good. Every time we think we're done with that topic, we just find more and more and more. But as far as this one, I think it's done. It's, for me, it's a nothing burger. It means nothing. The black car is just a red herring. It has no bearing on anything. It was never driven anywhere. It stayed in the garage, and Sidrah told one lie after another. And to me, it's a lie. When you it's one thing to change small details, because it's like, okay, well, I left in the morning, well, I left mid-morning. Okay, those kind of things, your brain kind of gets a little foggy. But this, time after time after time, more embellishment, bigger embellishment to huge embellishments. Yeah. Dun dun dun.
Yeah. So I can't say anything else. I am the worst at keeping secrets.
Oh, I love keeping secrets. But okay, so thank you guys so much for joining. Do you have anything else you want to add besides that?
I can't.
I'm glad to see that we had more people watching than were participating, which is fine. If you guys don't want to comment, that's absolutely okay. But Nova and Russell, thank you guys so much for having the conversations. I think they were the only two, correct? Yeah. And so thanks. You guys made it fun. But so we will definitely see you guys next time, and have a good night.
Good night, everybody.